Well, hello and good morning. Welcome back to Suburban Homesteader, Wyoming, Arizona. This is Sandy. I'm so glad that you're stopping in. I know that Melanie is already here. She already said good morning to me. And I hope you guys are having a fabulous morning. Another snowy day in Wyoming. I'm still trapped in Wyoming. That's right. Oh, and Karen is here. Karen, I mailed your package. Ginger is here. How are you, Ginger? And Cheryl is here. So people are starting to say hello to each other. It's always fun to see. That's one of the funnest things about going into chats is because you get to talk with some of your friends that are in there too. So this morning we have a fun topic. We are talking about herbs and syrups. Now, a lot of times when people think syrups, they think cough syrups, and we're going to talk about those. But there's a lot of other things that are syrups. In fact, some syrups are internal and some syrups are external. And so we're going to talk about those too. Cheryl says, snowing here this morning. We're supposed to have snow this morning too. Joe, our little neighbor boy shoveled the first little walk yesterday morning. And then Joe was out shoveling too. And we have these piles by our driveway because not only did the snowplows come down, and it just keeps accumulating, and so it's just crazy talk out there. And with the wind blowing, we have what I call snow waves because it comes off and it literally goes over part of the driveway, and it looks like waves of the snow of the ocean. I'll take a video today and show it. It's just amazing. So, but we are talking about syrups today, and you can make syrups in many different ways. You can make them, you can extract the essence of the herbs with water, with sugar, with honey, with a combination of those. Oh, we're also going to give away a hat today. So stick around for that. It's adjustable in the back. It's made out of corduroy. I bought it at a Hobby Lobby. I just thought they're just cute as can be. That's right. So we're going to give those away. Yesterday, a video came up and I made some elderberry syrup. It's really good for your immune system, for coughs, colds, things like that. And remember, everything we're talking about today, I am not a doctor. I am just talking about the experience that I've had, the knowledge I've gotten from other people, from books, from just life, that, what your grandmothers did, what your parents did to make their own syrups. It is totally a cute hat. I got my heart magnet. Thank you. I'm so glad you did. Karen was a winner. I mailed her stuff yesterday. So let me know, Karen, when you get that. Yeah, it was a busy day at the post office yesterday. I had 4 packages of different winners, and so that was kind of fun. And the mail guy was giving me a little teasing, and one of the other mail girls goes, "You got that video? You got those videos on YouTube?" I said, "Yes, I do." Elderberry is one of my favorite things to make. Syrups, tinctures, teas. I grow elderberries. I have a couple different plants, and I just really love them. My one friend up the road, she has, sometimes we talk about microclimates, and she has an elderberry bush that she basically never waters, but it's in this little microclimate, and it just flourishes. It is so abundant. I have picked from her many times, and it's just amazing. Oh, good. Karen says that she'll let me know when her package comes. So let's just talk about the idea of syrups. What's the idea of, what's the difference between making a tea or an infusion with an herb with water, that you would steep it, and can you take it from that to make a syrup? And the answer is yes. Yes, you can. You can make a tea which will extract the goodness out of that herb, either from fresh herbs or from dried herbs. And it will pull the good things out of that herb, in which then you can make a syrup. Other ways to make a syrup, because some people may want to add honey. Don't ever let your honey get over 105 degrees, because then you start losing some of the goodness of it. But can you make a syrup with honey and never heat it up? Can the honey extract it and get the goodness out of the herbs? And the answer is yes. So if you wanted to do it that way, it makes it very easy. You're just really starting it and letting it do all the work for you. And could you do this with sugar instead of honey? You could. So if you didn't have any honey, you could do the same thing. If I was doing it with sugars, what I would do, a lot of things that it works really well with the just layering of sugars are things that have a lot of moisture content in them. So they would be fresh herbs or fresh berries. Say you wanted to, say rose hips. So you pick the rose hips off of your roses and you wanted to make a rose hip syrup. You could literally put a layer of sugar, then rose hips, then sugar, then rose hips, and, just fill up your container. To do that, it would take basically months, really. It takes a long time, but it literally will pull it out of the rose hips and make you a syrup. A faster way to do that would be to pack your herbs in a jar. You could use a crock, but a jar I think works better because it's clear. Pack your herbs in there, cover it with honey, put it on a sunny window, and it would take about 2 weeks, 3 weeks, depending on the temperature of the sun coming through there. And it would make your syrup without you having to do anything. Cheryl says that she's trying to get her elderberries growing. Hopefully they will do better this year. Now remember, Cheryl, you can make more elderberry plants from your elderberry plant that you have right now. You could cut a branch off, make little sections, 6, 8 inches long, as it had the little nodes. Those are the little things that would make leaves come out or a branch come out. They're little bumps on the branch. And you could set those in a trench and just, bury them. So you have at least 2 nodes under the ground, 2 nodes above the ground, and they would root themselves and you could make more elderberries, because sometimes if an elderberry is not thriving, it's because it doesn't like where it is. And so instead of going through the work of digging up that elderberry plant, why not make a few more and put them different places in your yard? If you don't have an elderberry plant, you can buy the little sticks online from a lot of different companies and grow your own. Elderberries are just a great thing to add into a lot of syrups because it just has a lot of immune system benefits to it. Wild cherry bark is like that. It's really good for coughs and immune systems. And a lot of people grow roses, so why not take advantage of that and add? Like when I made my elderberry syrup, I added rose hips, ground rose hips into it because it has health benefits, and I like that. You can make syrups from pine needles. Ginger says, I got an elderberry cutting from a YouTube friend and put it in the ground. Not sure if they are going to make it. We are having a really cold winter this year. Elderberries are very hardy. Now, I don't know what specific type of elderberry you have, but a lot of times they will grow better when they have that cold. And then I think you might be pleasantly surprised, Ginger, because they are really good. Now, say you have an herb that you want to make a syrup, or a combination of herbs that you want to make a syrup. Always make sure you're not making anything that anybody in your family may be allergic to. So do your research with that. And so what I would do is I would put my plant material, put water with it. A lot of times I'll let it soak overnight if it's dried herbs. And then you can either heat it up with that herb in it, or you can strain it and heat that up. And then you can add your honey to it to thicken it up. Some people will add alcohol with it too. That will help that whole process too. Warm, fuzzy vibes. Sorry. I grew a couple elderberry trees in a large pot in a sunny spot. After a couple of years, I had a tiny crop on one year, and the next had good crop on both trees. A lot of things you can grow in pots. You know, sometimes people think that, oh, I don't have any land, I can't grow these herbs, but it's just simply not true. You can grow in pots, and you know, things that need things that are warmer zones than you are. You can always consider bringing those pots inside in the wintertime, putting them in a sunny window, or having lights that will stimulate them to keep growing. And so I always say, go for it. You know, try it. Like this year when we go down to Arizona, if the weather ever warms up, no, it'll warm up. We're going to go down, and I'm actually planting licorice root, because I put licorice root in almost all of my syrups, all of my salves. I just add it to a lot of things. In Chinese medicine, the licorice root, they say, enhances other roots. And so I add it to stuff. And I have always had to buy it. And I have resolved I'm going to grow my own, because down in Arizona, it's warm enough, because licorice is in the legume family, but it is a perennial, and you harvest the roots, but it has to be about 3 to 4 years before you can harvest that. And so I'm just going to grow it. And I mean, I'll have to buy it until then, but it's a really cool looking plant, and it very much looks like a legume, you know. And so I'm kind of excited about growing that. I am looking for a hops bag today to make elderberry syrup. Berries are frozen right now. I have frozen hops in my freezer. Over at one of our community gardens along one of the fence lines, they used to have hops, and I would harvest them. And so I actually put them in Mylar bags and put them in the freezer, so that when I need hops in a syrup or whatever tincture, whatever I'm doing, I can easily just take them out of the freezer, out of the Mylar bags. And you should be able to find them online. Otherwise, what I would do is I'd go to the extension office, or call the extension office in your town, and just ask them, do you know anybody that grows hops? Because a lot of people that grow hops will harvest them each year and put them in the freezer, or they'll dry them. And so you might be able to find some. Note, elderberries will sucker a lot if you grow them in the ground. That's true, because my bush gets wider. My bushes get wider and wider. And Troy Sutton is here. Good morning, young man. How are you? And Troy, we're talking about herbs and syrups today. Okay, now, a lot of times people think, okay, I'm going to make a syrup. Excellent. What are you going to use it for? A lot of times people, when they think syrups, they think cough syrups, which is good. You know, herbs make great cough syrups. But there are syrups you can make that you can use externally. Like, you can apply to your face that can, because a lot of herbs are very antimicrobial. And so it can help a lot of things, pimples, your pores. It can clean your pores out, things like that. A lot of syrups that you can make, honey-based syrups too, that you can use on infections or burns, because honey is very healing and soothing. And so you can make syrups that can help with that. Scarring tissue. A lot of times people make a syrup to put over top of a scar to help reduce that scar. And I think a lot of times that when people are making syrups or thinking about syrups, they haven't really thought of, oh, am I using them internally or externally? So you have to know what you can use internally, what is safe. One of the things that I would remind everybody, that if you are harvesting herbs, especially in the wild, you don't want them anywhere near something that's a GMO product that's grown, a cornfield that's GMO. Don't harvest the herbs by there. Okay. That would probably be a whole nother topic, but just a little reminder not to do that. If you're making a syrup that has honey in it, that's not something you can give a child. They say under 12 months, but I would even do it even a little older. I just wouldn't do it, when you're making a syrup, when you're deciding how much honey to add, because I would rather do a syrup with honey than sugar, but that's just me. I think I would, those are choices people make. But I just think the honey is a better product, because the sugar, I mean, you could use raw sugar. And so that would be okay. If you could get some organic raw sugar, I wouldn't have an issue with that at all. Karen says, do you know what could help psoriasis? My daughter suffers from it, and she is like me, wanting natural, not pills. There are some great salves that you could use on psoriasis. There is, Andale has Andale Homestead. Sometimes she pops in, but she's not here today. If Ginger, could you do me a favor, and could you put Andale's YouTube channel in the comments for me? And she has a calendula oil that she makes, and she's had a lot of skin problems, and she's been using this calendula oil on her skin issues, and has really helped clear it up. And she would be somebody that you could just literally just go to her website too and buy it and send it to her. Or you can make it yourself. Calendula oil is an easy thing to make. And Anne will be the first person to tell you that. Diana, hello, how are you? We are talking about herbs and syrups today. Now, when you're making your syrups, you have to kind of decide how thick you want them, how much you're going to reduce. You have your herbs. Oh, thank you, Ginger. There is Anne's Homestead, her YouTube channel, and it'll have a link on buying her calendula oil. But calendula is a very healing herb, and so if you don't want to make it yourself, Andale is the girl to go to. But when you're making your syrup, you got to decide how thick you want it. Now, sometimes people think cough syrup, it has to be really, really thick. Does it? I don't know. That's really an opinion. I mean, I think it's because when we're little, we think of it, and we remember drinking that really thick, grape flavored cough syrup that our parents made us drink. Does it have to be? No. Can it be? Yes. And really, the stronger flavor, the stronger the herbs are that you're using, probably the more honey you might want to put, because the syrup will taste stronger with less honey. And it's easier, more palatable with more honey. So, because some herbs are very strong, and you just have to decide what you want. That's right, Karen. That grape flavored cough syrup that we had when we were little. I suppose it made a great flavor because kids want something that is like that. But my elderberry syrup, it is very strong. And so if you watch the video from yesterday, and the more you reduce it, the more you boil it before, well, not boil it, simmer it before you add the honey into it, the more concentrated, the thicker that syrup is from the beginning. And then you're adding the honey. My elderberry syrup, I do add alcohol to it too. You don't have to do that. That is totally up to you. Oh, and thanks, Ginger. She put in Anne's website. But Anne has that oil, and she's got lots of videos that she talks about it, that her hands were just, and parts of her arms and stuff were just horrible. And that calendula oil has just been a wonder for her. And so now, could you make a syrup from just roots? Like what roots could you use? You could use dandelion root, horseradish. Oh gosh, there's a lot of roots that you could make. Burdocks, ginseng. Could you make a syrup from those roots? You can. One way to do that is, of course, you could just chop them up and put them in with a different recipe. But if, say, you have the actual roots, and what you could do is cover them with honey in a saucepan, slowly heat it up. So like you're glazing those roots. The honey will kind of froth, and stir it for a while, take it off and let it cool a little bit. Put it back on. And do that several times, because you don't want to heat the honey up too much, not over 105 degrees, if you want all the goodness of the honey. But as you do that several times for several minutes at a time, it will take the good things out of those herbs. And you can only do it on roots that are actually edible. You can't just pull something out of the ground and think, oh, I'm going to make a syrup out of that. And you don't have any idea what you're doing. Don't do that. Do you think syrups will help with migraines? I do. I think you could, Ginger, I would do some research on Googling herbs that are good with migraines anyway, and you could make a syrup out of that. But the thing I would want to know is, why is a person having the migraines in the first place? Is it a medical issue? Is it a stress issue? My dad years ago used to have migraines, and he did the funniest technique, but he said it always worked. He said that, I saw him. He would lay on the couch, completely flat. He would take a dish towel that was wet. I assume it was warm when it started. I was a child, so I can't actually tell you that. I should ask him. And he would cover his forehead and his eyes with it. And I think it was just more a meditation that he was doing it. But I think that would be something that you could put herbs in too, in that dish towel that were moistened. And I think that would help that too. But I don't want to say a syrup without knowing more facts about that. Okay. My mom would make hot toddies to get rid of a fever. I think that there's a lot of things that people use that will work. I always say to people that people want a fast, quick answer. but there's a lot of things you have to consider before you can answer. It's just like, can you make a syrup that would help migraines? Yes, but why are you having migraines in the first place? I think you have to go back to that. Because herbs are an amazing thing that God gave us for the healing of nations, I think. Let's give a hat away before I forget, because we're already at the 25. Karen says, I was a teacher and got hit by a child. Now I have a concussion syndrome, light sensitive, and migraines. Interesting. Wow. Ginger says, my husband suffers from migraines. He has tried lots of prescriptions, and they are either too expensive or they don't fully work. Ginger, let's talk about that. Just me and you, okay? I'll send you an email, okay? This is true. Some foods can bring on migraines. A lot of that is allergic reactions, and your body does the migraine from that. Research is totally your key. But I'll send you an email, okay, Ginger? Okay, so I'm going to put in my little code for the computer Nightbot to pick a winner. If I don't have your address, I will put my email across and you can send it to me, okay? Actually, I'll put my email across right now anyway. And let's see who Nightbot picks for the winner of this fun hat. I just think it's cute as can be. I do. I actually love it. And the Nightbot says the winner is Karen is our winner. Woo-hoo-hoo. I'll send this out to you. I have Karen's because I just mailed her a package yesterday because she was a winner on a different thing. Awesome. That's just so exciting. Ginger says, Karen, yes, I can eat McDonald's, and before we get home, I already have a headache. Oh, wow. Do you know that most French fries that you get from wherever, from any bag of French fries you buy in the store, French fries you buy from McDonald's, they soak that in sugar water, which I think is so weird, but that's what makes them kind of addictive. Yeah, I don't eat at McDonald's. I haven't eaten at McDonald's, I bet you. And honestly, I bet you I haven't been to a McDonald's in 30 years. Not that I wouldn't eat their food. It was their policies that they had 25 and 30 years ago that I didn't agree with. And I stopped eating at McDonald's. Soapbox. Oh, okay. Forget that. That's not what we're talking about. No, I printed off something that it's called Basic Herbal Syrups. It's just a one sheet. If you want a copy of it, let me know and I'll try to find it again. I'll try to find it and I'll put it in the description too. And it just talks about making a simple, just basic herbal syrup. Probably the easiest syrups you could make is that you're starting with either 2 cups of fresh herbs or 1 cup of dried herbs. You're going to put it in 2 cups of water. You're going to bring that water to a boil, and you're going to shut it off after you've brought it to a boil. Put a lid on it and let it steep for 20 minutes, which really just means you're just going to let it sit there for 20 minutes. And what that water is going to do is it's going to pull out the good things in that herb. It's basically you're making a tea right at this point. Okay, so then you're going to strain it, squeeze all the goodness out of those herbs. And then for every 2 cups of water you have, it suggests that you put 1 to 2 cups of sugar or honey. I would use honey. And you're going to make it, the thinner it is, the stronger that flavor is. So if you want it not as strong, you're going to use 2 cups of honey. If you want it more the taste of the herbs, put 1 cup of honey in it. And it just makes it thicken. It will last in your fridge for a few months, up to 6 months, 8 months. So if there's an herb that you're wanting to get the essence from that herb, you're looking up the herb and it says it will do this. Just try it first by making a tea and then adding the sugar or honey, which makes it into a syrup. Take it 2 or 3 times a day and see how it makes you feel. Does it make you feel better? If you're using honey, don't give it to little children. They say under 12 months. I say under 2 years. But that's just me. Oh, Ginger says she'd like a copy of it. I will get the link and I'll put it in the description when I'm done with the live. Okay. And I know this is just a fast overview of herbs and syrups. To have a real in-depth, seriously, you'd need hours of a talk. But I wanted it to just kind of pique your interest, so that you do your own research, that you go, okay, I want to dive into this more. If you don't have any herb books, you have the internet. There are fabulous books in probably every library in the country on herbs. Start small, start weak with your concoctions. If you're on medication, always talk to your doctors first. You just always want to be safe, always. But I hope this little talk just piques your interest and you want to do a little more research. You want to find out about things you can do. Syrups for external use, syrups for internal use. Charmaine is here. Hello, girl. How are you? And Cheryl says, a single shot of silver Patron tequila melted my migraines away. Found that by accident. That's interesting. A lot of times migraines are a tightening of your blood carbuncles. That's not what the word is. Whatever. My brain is words gone. There are things that will help one person that will not help another person. You have to do research. You have to, if there's certified herbalists that by where you live, these are people you want to talk to. Take some online herbal classes. You will learn so many things. Oh, Cheryl says no other tequila works, just that one. So there's something in that helps you. Cheryl, LOL, Cheryl. But really, that's how it works with migraines. You need to find what works for you. That's the word. Thank you. Carbuncle. I can't even talk today. Sorry. Do research. Try things. Be safe. We're not doctors here. We're just giving our experience. But I have made syrups for my kids as they grow up. I make syrups now. Joe's had this sinus cough kind of thing. He's tried all kinds of stuff. That's why I made the elderberry syrup, because I didn't have any in the fridge. Because it helps. A lot of times when I do syrups, trick before we leave. And I have this in the video. I hold it under my tongue for as long as I can. That's the same with if I'm taking a tincture. I hold it under my tongue for as long as I can. Tinctures can be very powerful. So, even if it's 10 seconds, because it helps absorb through your blood system very quickly. And then you're going to swallow. It's going to help your throat. It's going to help your other stuff. But I've just found that to work very well. Oh, Cheryl says she wants to try feverfew. I grow feverfew every year. It is a great herb to use or add to different concoctions that you're making. I have a fantastic neurologist that specializes in migraines, and he's not just by the book doctor, but he believes in natural medicine also. Oh, you are a blessed woman then, I tell you, because that is sometimes hard to find. But everybody, thanks so much for stopping in. Karen, congratulations on the hat. I better write that down. And do your own research. But explore herbs, explore syrups and tinctures and teas. I always say start with teas first. It's an easiest, simplest thing. And then from a tea, you can so easily make a syrup. So I hope you guys have a great day. I will see you next time. And enjoy your weekend. We're supposed to get snow again. It's like this never-ending cycle. I feel like I'm never getting out of Wyoming to go to Arizona. I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.